Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome back, everyone, for episode 311 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing, recorded live from Western, Northeast, South Dakota. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy, locked and loaded.
What's the other one? What did I say? Someone at the Arnold said locked and loaded, and I didn't remember the appropriate response.
Oh, I didn't think I'd ever forget this, and now I can't remember.
Bring the heat.
Bringing the heat.
Yeah.
Bringing the heat.
So which one did I say?
I don't know. I don't know who said what one now. It's been so long.
We haven't actually talked about Rippetonomics, have we?
No, we actually have not.
We should bring that up. Also,
I'm writing these down
when
right
we
now
were
'cause
talking about
forget.
a band with a number, were we talking about, it was several episodes ago, was it 311 that we were talking about, or was it something else?
I don't remember talking about 311.
We didn't talk about 311 then, did we?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
Well, so this is episode 311.
Oh.
And it's important because it's like the Omaha, Nebraska rock band 311.
Yeah. I've seen 311 live before.
I haven't, no. So it wasn't 311. It was someone else with a number, because it was like, is there something that starts with a 2 or 3 or
that we did talk about on the show?
Yeah.
Like recently?
Recently. Within like 10 to 15 episodes ago, but I don't think it was 311. No, it wasn't Blink 182.
They said 311 was definitely 303.
303.
Okay.
There. See, I knew it. So it was
Episode
only
303.
it was just 8 episodes ago.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
There we go.
Yeah, so that's what. No, we didn't talk about 311 really in particular then though. So 311, are you a fan or?
I'm a fan. Some people are really big fans. I don't mind them. They're good.
Yeah.
I was more excited. That concert I went to, Slightly Stupid was there. I like Slightly Stupid more than 311.
Do you like Blink 182?
I love Blink 182.
Yeah.
That was, that's when I think about Enema of the State. What was that? Probably about, I don't know, 2000-ish, give or take, or probably maybe even a couple years later. When I saw that come out, and just their music video being like wacky and making fun of everything, that was what I was all about. I was like, that's so cool. And I guess maybe part of that lives on in Massenomics today.
I think it does. Do you like Green Day?
I do like Green Day too.
I like Green Day.
Actually.
Yeah.
It's funny how long Green Day has been around when you think about it.
Yeah.
I started to get a little more checked out of them around the American Idiot time. But Basket Case and that stuff from the 90s.
That's good.
That stuff goes hard
still good.
It's still good. Longview and all that.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It's still good. Like, that's like pop punk perfection there. It's
I
tough to beat
agree.
that. I had, when I was in high school, one of their albums from like early 90s. I think they were maybe still in high school even when that came out, and it's a much rougher sound, but even that had some merit to it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were really hitting their stride in the mid 90s.
Yeah,
there
for sure.
Was it Dookie and whatever that other album's called? I can't.
Yeah,
but yeah, bangers.
So Rippetonomics though.
We should read an ad before.
Yeah. Do you want me to?
You always go first.
Okay.
Lead off hitter here.
All right. So first I want to tell you about SPUD Inc. SPUD Inc. straps. You can check them out at spud-inc-straps.com. Great company, of course, obviously. They make a lot of great products, like way more products than you'd ever even imagine. You've got to go to the site and just start looking, and you'll be like, wow, I would not have known that SPUD Inc. made this, and here it is right here. I didn't even know I needed it until I went to the SPUD Inc. website, and now I need it, and I'm adding it to my cart. The product I'm looking at here today specifically are the deluxe cable handles, which are $39.99, and they are built bomb-proof. The SPUD Inc. cable handles feature a 6-inch long steel handle with a textured rubber coating and come with a large spring clip for attaching to cable machines, bands, chains, or even suspension straps. Strong enough to take whatever you throw at them and flexible enough to be used for dozens of different exercises. The deluxe cable handles might be the only handles you ever need. They're made in America, of course. And like I said, they're the steel handles with the textured rubber coating. We don't have these exact ones. They've got a number of different cable handles that they sell even. So that's what I'm saying. Like, go check it out and you'll be like, we got options here. But we do have a pair of SPUD Inc. cable handles, and they work great. People use them all the time. SPUD-Inc-Straps.com. Thanks, SPUD Inc.
And most importantly, they fit under the bed. You know, I like to think that someday SPUD will have a booth somewhere, and it's just going to be like 6 beds laid out, and whatever
all the
product you want to
products will be
see,
underneath the
they just
bed.
go grab it from
Yeah,
under the bed.
like you don't even have to ask if it fits under
It's
the
just
bed.
a live
They're all
demo.
under the
Like,
bed.
that's part one of their products is that it fits under the bed.
Yeah. Was there a hula chair booth at the Arnold this year?
I think I missed it.
Okay.
I might have seen it on the map, but I think I missed it.
You know who this podcast is also brought to you by?
Who?
Our good fine friends at the Strength Co.
It's a fine group of people.
No, they really are. Grant, can I tell you a little bit about Grant? He owns and runs the Strength Co. He was born in the late 80s, which is a great time to be born, if you ask me.
Fantastic time to be born.
It's actually
you didn't have to grow up with the internet, but eventually you got to grow into
true,
the internet. You know?
yeah. It's like you grew up right along with it. You know, it's like you blossomed together. This is actually nearly 2 decades after BuddyCast began lifting, and it's funny because Grant really has become the buddy caps of our generation. I feel like we right now are like whoever was buddies with Buddy Caps.
Yeah.
Back in.
We're definitely not Image Barbell. That's for sure.
No, we're not Image Barbell. We're the people
like the opposite of that.
Yeah, we're like right along on. We're at like the beginning of this story, and we're there living it. It's the Grant Brogy story though, not the Buddy Cap story this time. In the late 90s, Grant's brother Jordan bought him the Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Grant's love for weightlifting began. In 2001, Grant joined the local YMCA, We Can Relate, and began training with weights. In 2009, Grant discovered the book Starting Strength, and in 2012, as a lieutenant in the Marine Corps, he began teaching Marines this method. In 2017, Grant opened his first gym in Costa Mesa, California, and the Strength Co. was born. In 2020, during a major iron shortage, Grant sought to bring back quality manufacturing of Olympic barbell plates to America. His innovation, adaptation, and can-do attitude brought about the greatest plates made in decades. The plates were accurate, anti-fragile, and instantly became the go-to plates of hundreds of lifters at the Massenomics gym. And this just in, we just got a whole bunch more Strength Co plates at Massenomics gym.
We did.
So they're even more so.
We have 2 full racks of Strength Co plates.
Yes.
That's double the go-to power.
That's now it's like
You
when
basically
you walk
can't
in,
leave now.
No, I know, and you're it's more options of where specifically you go to. Because before
there's still one region you're going to go to, but once you get over there, you have to decide are you go left or right here.
Yeah, and it's a weird like draw. You're drawn to both directions at the same time.
That side of the gym is really getting a very strong pull to it.
Yeah. So like, I'm going there.
And it looks good too.
They do look really good on the rack.
About that.
They aren't wrong when they say that the greatest plates that have been made in generations. I think that's exactly true.
That's an undisputed fact.
So thank you, Strength Co.
I do have to say one more thing on the topic of Blink-182. A lot of people like Blink-182 and don't know that Blink-182 had a really, really good live album. I believe it was called the Mark, Tom, and Travis Show. I remember getting the CD when I was a kid. And it was like, whoa, I probably shouldn't be listening to this. I'm just a kid.
Yeah.
It is on Spotify now. At least the last time I checked, it was on Spotify. It wasn't for a long time. It is now. It's really good. If you're a fan of Blink-182, you should listen to it because they change up the words in a lot of the songs. There's some ad-libs in there. There's whole sections of them talking to the crowd. A lot of the songs they just play faster and a little more aggressively. I give that album 2 thumbs up.
Would recommend.
I would highly recommend that one if you're a fan of Blink-182 in any way. Sum 41, Big Joyce's Sum 41.
Yeah,
Sum 41 was like my other favorite band of all time when I was a kid. Oh man, I love Sum 41. And the way I got introduced, it's crazy. Totally forgot about this until right now. Sum 41, this is probably in, I don't know, like 4th or 5th grade. I honestly don't even know. Probably 5th grade. Internet wasn't really a thing. We didn't have the internet then. I mean, the school, I guess, technically did, but it wasn't something what are you in 5th grade? 10 years old?
11.
Maybe 11.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Like internet was still a pretty foreign topic. So like discovering music isn't something you're really just going online and figuring out.
No.
We had some family that lived in the cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul in that region.
As we know from our geography.
Exactly.
Geography.
And one day when we went to visit, my uncle took my brother and I to the Mall of America, and it just so happened that the day we were there, Tony Hawk and some other people had a half pipe set up in the Mall of America,
Really?
and they were doing a skate demo, and it was so cool. Like getting to,
That is really
So I was
cool.
into skateboarding at the time,
Yeah.
and so these guys have their half pipe and they're skateboarding, and as part of, they're throwing stickers and stuff in the crowd, and
Yeah.
someone threw, I think it was like a Def Jam CD sampler, and there was a Sum 41 song in there. I think it was Makes No Difference. And they also had like some music. That was when like CDs would sometimes have music. You could put them in a computer and like music videos might play on them.
Oh, sure.
And they
yeah.
had some of that, and they were like driving around and spraying people with super soakers. And I thought, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
And that was my introduction to Sum 41. It was amazing.
I like how there's the jokes about how people don't even really know who Tony Hawk is.
Yeah, like they see him with a skateboard. And they're like,
like,
oh, cool, yeah.
Is
Oh,
that your son's skateboard?
yeah. Or like, yeah, I love playing this game Tony Hawk when I was growing up. Things like that.
But what is it? Repostonomics or repeatonomics?
God, I cannot remember. Is it Repeatonomics?
I think that's what it is. Anyways,
We should get the handle right so people can look it
Yeah,
up.
that's true. We are not behind the account. We do not know who is behind the account.
Repeatonomics.
Repeatonomics. And what's the bio description of Repeatonomics?
So first, the profile picture is a drawing of an R, and then the little leg of the R is a downward arrow going.
Right.
And it's listed under education, and it says classic quotes from the classic Massenomics podcast, brought to you in classic black and white that really pops in your feed. And they're up to 22 posts and 129 followers.
Yeah.
So things are going pretty good for them.
There's some pretty funny quotes in there too, that most of which I don't remember myself.
Oh, I don't remember any of these looking through them. Some of them I'm reading, and they could be made up for all I know. Like, I'm just like, I guess.
And
these things
they've been
could have been
pulling
said, but-
old pictures off of both of us off of
like our social
I'm
media.
not sure where they all picked up all the pictures from, but they're pretty funny.
It is a good page. If you're a fan of Massenomics, the podcast especially, you should probably go follow Repeatonomics.
Yes.
A lot of deep cuts in there right now.
And we do not know who's behind it.
We don't.
There's a level of anonymity there.
It's funny that Dan Bell follows it too. Yeah. I'm just looking at who follows it. That's the most surprising one of someone.
We did have our new drop this week.
We did.
We just did that Tuesday. That was just yesterday.
Yeah, actually,
Yep.
yeah, Tuesday. That's such a weird thing.
Time
It's
flies
been a
when you're
long
dropping
time
drops.
since we've had a drop not really on a Thursday.
Yeah,
I guess we've maybe had some. I don't even know if we even had smaller things not on a Thursday.
maybe.
lately.
But it was a special time, and it called for special measures. It was March 15th, 3:15 day yesterday. So we, of course, had to bring back the
bench and
Bench and 315 tee.
And it went great.
If you missed out on Bench and 315 the first go around, and you've been sitting on it this time, you're probably going to miss out if you don't get one.
Probably.
You don't have time to spare. And then we also brought back the two things that you saw at the Arnold, the Massenomics is numero uno tee and the beanies.
Mm-hmm.
And the beanies, we are getting down there in some of those colors.
People say, "Oh, this is out of season." We say, "Wrong. We're just going into late spring flurries
It's
in western
perfect
northeast
season,
South Dakota
yeah.
here. This is the exact time for those things."
Exactly. And if you want a specific color of that, you better hop on that too, because I don't think
There
the
are a
beanies
few
are
that are getting
necessarily
down
going
there.
away, but we might rotate, we might.
Yeah, there could be some colors that
rotations.
disappear for a
Yeah,
while.
right. So don't sleep on those.
Yeah.
But otherwise, the drop was really good for us, I think.
Yeah,
Right? And
You never know when you're re-releasing something old if people are going to say, "Oh, we got this. We don't need it," or if there's enough new people around or enough new interest. And there's enough of both of those.
it was funny looking back at some of the original posts of like the numero uno tees specifically, because we released the numero uno tee very early on.
Probably
in
one of our
the,
first 3 or 4 shirts ever.
Yeah, and it was like, I can't remember what month, but it was in 2016 that we released it, and that post had like 20 likes, and it was just a much different time at that.
The world was a very different place.
Yeah,
then.
and like it's just even funny, like these re-releasing of T-shirts, we're selling more of them.
Like in a day than we did basically ever
Yeah,
of them.
right, right.
Like it pretty much sold more in a day than what we could in like multiple years the first time around.
Yeah, and did we talked about the conversation of all the names for the hats? Did we talk about that on air? Like how it's, the beanie, the stocking hat,
I don't think we actually did cover the.
Did we talk about? I thought we. Or we
I think it
talked
was
about,
me and you talking about on the way to the Arnold. Maybe.
Was that right?
I think it was.
Oh, they said we did.
Oh,
But
Okay.
what I had to add is there was someone threw one more at me. Actually, Big Cam of Cam Cock Sauce. He says, "Well, we didn't call that any of that. We called that a toboggan."
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Okay, because I saw a toboggan in there. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the hell does a sled have to do with any of this? This
No,
is my first.
that's
thought.
what he's like. That's what everyone called it.
Really.
That's what we call them in West Virginia. Big He says
Oh man,
a toboggan.
There's something about Southern people that I feel like they have everything backwards. Toboggan? That doesn't make any sense.
But that's just funny. It's another. This is apparently one particular garment that is very regional on what you call it.
Apparently,
Regional and time dependent.
don't people get it's a cap for your head?
that you wear on your head? So toboggan is just one more that can be thrown in there. Okay, we have a McDonald's update that we got to get to. Maybe we'll hold off on that for.
Maybe
just a
we'll
couple
hold off
more-
for a week
yeah.
or two on that.
We've been teasing that one for months now. The McDonald's. What about a can? Should we get to a can, or is it not time for a can?
Wow, we're 16 minutes in already.
Yeah.
Huh? Yes, Tanner, this is a what's in the can.
Okay. Oh, do I need to? This is a proper what's in the can.
This is a proper what's in the can.
I'm excited for that McDonald's talk later if we get to it. I'm not sure if we're going
It's
to.
making me hungry just thinking about it.
Ba 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 ba.
We're also as you know, since we're on the topic of teasers, Massenomics is kind of working a PR angle here that could come to light. Something could come of this.
What of what?
Well, we have a PR angle. You know, we have our PR people talking to different things right now.
Oh. I was like, is this a joke or what are we doing here?
See, you have a blindfold on. You don't know what's happening.
Yeah,
but we do have some. We have some PR fingers out there.
We do
you could
have
say.
some feelers out there. We could have some exciting.
So stay tuned.
News.
There could be some very fun things
in the print form of
that will lend themselves
media.
to memes very, very well here.
There could be some print media coming soon for Massenomics
if everything goes according to plan. Okay, you ready for this? What's in the can?
Yeah. Do I need to hold my hand out or? Am I just...
Now you do.
Okay.
Okay, there you are.
Okay.
Whew.
Oh, is this a big can?
It is a big boy.
I'm pretty thirsty.
Right.
I hope it's a thirst quencher. Real fruity, I think. I just smell. I'm just smelling.
Interesting.
Whoa. Who gave you this? Someone gave you this.
Someone did give me this.
Did they give you this at the Arnold?
I'll give you more details on it when the time comes. The lack of carbonation really caught me off guard.
It tastes like a sweet tart. Like I'm drinking a sweet tart or something. Tastes really sweet to me.
Yeah. Be kind of tough to put this whole thing down, I think.
Wow. I don't know what flavor that is. It tastes like candy. Like, I don't know what flavor do you say.
There's only 10 calories in here, so you don't
Really?
worry about sugar.
That cannot be. It tastes like I can feel the sugar in the, you know.
Only 10 calories, and none of it is from sugar. I don't know where the calories are coming from.
Boy, I don't know what flavor you. Let me try one. Is there any alcohol in this?
No alcohol either. No alcohol, no carbonation. If you guess this flavor, then
Wait, is it grape? I'm going to say it's grape.
is that what you're going with?
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you take a look?
Raging raspberry hibiscus.
That's a flavor, huh? So this is
no one would ever know that.
No,
by that
this is
tasting
a
it.
bang. What do they even call this thing? Okay, there's no caffeine in this.
Okay,
just so
that's
you
what
know,
I
too.
was also like. What are we dealing with on the caffeine?
What is Vooz? What does it say? I don't even know.
I think VOOZ. Yeah, it's a booze.
Bang Vooz. Raging raspberry hibiscus hydration sensation. And then osmolality optimized. There's a lot of words on this thing.
Did Big Eddie give you this?
I had to think about it, and I wanted to say Big Eddie, and I'm like, God, but multiple people gave us stuff. Did I remember that wrong? But I'm about 99% sure Big Eddie gave this to me. Yes.
Okay. So does not have caffeine. You're sure? Okay.
I've looked it over multiple times because I kept thinking, because Eddie even said, yep, no caffeine.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, is there a trick? Did we get tricked on this one? But it's because then on the bottom it says also try Vooz plus energy.
Okay.
So this is purely for hydration sensation. I do like this. The refreshing and delicious Vooz alternative transcends sports hydration with fourth fuel energy technology. Furthermore, patent pending Vooz is osmolality optimized and is powered by a critical osmolite and immune boosting ingredient in zinc and vitamin D3. Vibe with Vooz hydration sensation. That's a lot of words right there.
That say nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I took nothing from that. I don't know, man. This thing's pretty crazy.
It doesn't taste too bad to me.
No, it's not bad. I'd probably go.
We've had way worse things.
We've had way worse. I'd probably go.
I don't think it's raspberry hibiscus.
The hibiscus is the real wild card always. I'm really torn between a 3.5 and a 3 on this one.
Me too.
I think carbonation would really just lock in that 3.5.
Yeah, there's just.
I might just have to go 3.
I'm kind of at a 3. That was
just
because
in my head, every time I have a can, I'm thinking so much is going to be some bubbly there.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3.
Yeah, I'll go.
Not
with
too
that
bad. And I was pretty thirsty, so I'm happy to have a
tall boy in your hand
for sure.
A pounder,
right?
If you will.
If you will. The Eddie versus Thor fight is on Saturday. Finally. I bet we first talked about it
years ago.
Yeah.
Like actually years ago.
We're not talking about Big Eddie from the Discord. We're talking about Big Eddie Hall and Big Hafthor Hudius Bjornsson. They are finally fighting on Saturday.
It is funny thinking about Hafthor fighting Eddie from the Discord, though.
Should we do predictions like we do for the Super Bowl? First of all, who's going to win and what the circumstance will be?
So I don't know enough about bowling to really bowling. I said bowling.
You know everything about bowling.
I don't know enough about boxing to really even start calling circumstances. I think Hafthor is going to win, but circumstances by knockout, maybe I could see both the guys getting sloppy enough that they just start swinging and someone goes down eventually. But I also could see them trying to avoid it ever coming to that point, because neither one wants to say they were knocked out.
Right. I guess I think Hafthor's going to win by not a knockout. I think they're. I don't know. My guess, also knowing absolutely nothing about boxing, saying that first of all, just from what I've seen from both of them, is it seems like Thor maybe has really taken this
somewhat seriously.
Very serious. He's probably gotten about as good as you can get at boxing in that amount of time with having no prior boxing experience whatsoever. Because
in just 3 short years.
Well, yeah. I mean, it has been a couple by now, but I guess I'm going to say him. But I would think they're just, even with all the training, I'm guessing they're going to get so tired that seems like when both guys are that tired, there's not after the first minute or two, it's not all that prone for knockouts because neither of them have great punching power left. I don't know. I'll say Thor will win by decision.
That
I guess. I don't know.
I'll totally go with that too.
And then the other thing they're talking about here is Eddie on his YouTube just came out with basically a documentary about the 2017 World's Strongest Man. That was the year that Eddie won, that Thor lost.
It was 2017.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
And it's I think it's a 4-part documentary
on YouTube. Did you
on
say,
YouTube, Eddie's YouTube. All of them are 30 minutes long, and I watched part of the first one because I saw several people talking about it, and it was seemed to be pretty decently made. But from what I saw, it was mostly about how bad a health Eddie was actually in and stuff like that. All the problems, all the problems he had going on and stuff like that.
Just being so overweight.
Yeah. I assume all the drugs and the
well,
size.
I guess,
and
the drugs kind of go without saying.
Right.
Yeah.
But it seemed to be pretty interesting. But then, like, I saw him and Thor had a little. This week they had a little like sitting at a round table, like back and forth with each other, and I can't really tell how much of it's staged. It feels a little staged to me, but also it does seem like they probably really don't like each other. So I'm not really sure, or I can't tell. I can't tell if it's just 100% staged or like 80% staged. You know, like, but you know they go back and forth and call each other out, and it's just funny to me because. Also, I'm not an actor, so it's hard to put myself in those shoes. But like, even if it's acting, I would be frustrated at the other person for him saying some of those things about me. You know, I'd be like,
so they were,
I'd be like, don't call me a cheating son of a bitch. Like, you know, like I'd be like, I'd forget that we're supposed to be doing this as an act, and it would actually make me upset. I think.
yeah, because in the beginning it seemed very much like an act, the whole setup to the whole thing, right?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what it felt.
But
like
it's so many years ago now that I honestly can't even. Hardly remember.
Seems like it's lost its luster a little bit, but I don't know
until the fight starts.
Yeah, so I'm not. Are you going to watch the fight? I don't really know how you watch the fight even.
Yeah, probably through the internet in some way or another. I probably will not.
Yeah, and then March Madness has started.
It does. Too. That's the more exciting thing, honestly.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't it the more exciting thing?
To me, I mean, I you know, that's exciting for a long period of time for a number of reasons. This boxing match will be a flash in the pans. I'm excited to see what the result is.
Well, yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
But I don't know enough about boxing to appreciate it. That's why I just can't get that excited about it, you know?
Yep. I agree. But March Madness is
Have
always
you filled out
interesting.
your bracket yet?
Nah, I kind of stopped doing the bracket. I don't know.
We have one amongst our family that we do. I'd like to think that I pretty much win it every year, so it's just keeping the streak alive, you know?
I think SDSU is a 13 seed.
Are they?
Yep. South Dakota State University.
Mm-hmm.
Best season they've ever had.
Yeah, weren't
they
undefeated?
They are undefeated, and I think they won over 30 games. I think they only lost 4 games this year.
Really? That's a
and
good
they
season.
only drew a 13 seed. They got a little hosed on the seeding, I think.
It's part of the part of the schedule in the conference that kind of hurts you there.
Yeah, but I mean, they literally won every. You know, like they didn't lose. They couldn't really do much else.
Yeah, that has to be honestly one of the better records in D1, doesn't it?
I'm sure it is up there. Yes,
because
I think they're like 30-4.
Yeah, everyone else that's in the top 3 all have at least 4 losses, don't they?
Yeah, I would think so. I actually don't know. I'm just speculating and just guessing on what it's usually like. And but I am going to a Timberwolves game this weekend.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. Speaking of basketball, I'm going to go take in a T-Wolves. Speaking of the cities,
yeah.
I'm going to take in a T-Wolves game.
Nice.
Karl Anthony Towns just dropped 60 points this week too.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and they're playing the Bucks, so I'm excited to see the Greek Freak in person.
I would love to see Giannis play.
That would be. I'm excited. Like, I want to see how close we can get to him to like actually see
really size him up.
Yeah, be like, what does what does this guy look like in person? Because like they don't call him the Freak for no reason. You know, like I'll be curious what that's like and actually see him run the court and stuff.
See
and
him
be
go
like,
from the 3-point line to the baseline in 2 steps.
Because like. I grew up playing basketball and, you know, played basketball throughout from like 3rd grade through high school and stuff. And like what he does is not what like isn't bad. Like I'm like, he's 7 foot tall and like
the cheat code.
Yeah. Right. Moves, yeah. Just exciting to see because it's a whole different, like it's just like not even the same sport.
Yeah. That'll be really cool.
Yeah. It will be cool.
I'm excited to hear about that. I thought of this too, Tanner. It's funny with the podcast. I'm at the point where I just assume most people that know me personally don't listen to the podcast because they're like, I don't need to hear those 2 guys talk anymore. That's just what I assume. And I had 3 different people in the past week DM me about things from episodes in the last 1 or 2 weeks, which made me laugh. So Dan, Brian, and Zane.
What did they want?
First, Brian said, we must have mentioned, I can't even remember.
Supporting member.
Yep. Yes. Okay. If it's
member,
perfect.
Brian.
He said something about, I don't know if I mentioned something West River or if I was mentioning Zane in passing. But either way, it was something that related to Zane. And he said he was listening to the podcast, and right when that happened, he got a PlayStation message from Zane saying, "Hey, do you want a game?" He's like, "Oh, so it's like the universe was putting Zane in my direction."
Yeah.
And then my buddy Dan, he had said that there's
What's Upton?
Jortsmanship. He said there is no reason that Ohio should ever be considered part of the Midwest.
People were DMing about that this week too.
He said there is nothing Western about Ohio at all. Here's this argument was here.
Yeah.
Nothing remotely mid or west about Ohio. It's neighboring 2 states notorious for embodying Southern culture, but it can't be its own standalone state as a region. So he would feel comfortable labeling Ohio and Michigan as Great Lakes states, which he thinks holds more honor than the Midwest. And I could see the argument in that.
You know, and I had mentioned the time zone thing, and someone's rebuttal to that to me through a DM was, well, Michigan and Indiana are also in Eastern time zone.
Yeah.
And I would agree, Michigan and Indiana would even be farther from considering them in that Eastern block of states, you know?
Yeah.
It's tough because they're right on the edge.
I know
That's the thing. You know, that's why they're borderline, because they are on the borderline.
Yeah. It's a hard one. There's probably someone that has some real good insight. Really
I
really,
the problem is, I think at the end of the day, it's still there isn't necessarily a right answer or a wrong answer.
That is the problem. It's a gray zone.
You just continue to be able to make arguments for it back and forth.
I got the piece of, I couldn't remember what Zane messaged me about, and here it is. And he said, I was listening to the podcast, and you guys were talking about playing the song Crazy Bitch, and it made me laugh really hard because he said, it made me think of when we'd be at Judd Who's concerts, and they would always, it was so funny, they would always do this. They would lead into, what's the song? Let's Start a Riot by 3 Days Grace.
Yeah.
And they'd always, before it started, they say, did someone say, let's start a riot? And we'd go, no. And I totally forgot that happened.
Yeah.
And so he had to message me. And it is funny how that comes full circle. Because
you said, hey, you're a crazy bitch.
Said, hey, crazy bitch, hold up.
Crazy bitch. What are we at here?
We're at pretty much interview time.
Do we need to hit him with a couple ads?
Oh.
While you're getting that ready, I was going to kick off a little supporting our supporting members segment. And we talked about
good call.
Big Brian there. Big Brian, been a supporting member for a while. Also a hell of a Schwann's delivery man, if you ask me.
He knows his way around a Schwann's truck.
Schwann's pretty Midwestern?
It's they're out of Marshall, Minnesota, so it should be very...
I think they got bought, though, by a big...
yeah, I think you're right.
Real big company, though. You know, I don't know. I mean, there's still some sort of headquarters out of Marshall, Minnesota, I think.
Yeah, they were going to change their name from Schwann's to Goose's. They're going to be the Silly Goose Delivery Company.
If you guys are listening to this and you don't know what Schwann's is, or the
Schwann's man. It's funny because around here you can say someone's a Schwann's man.
Yeah.
And you know exactly what that means.
So Schwann's is a delivery...
they're like the original food delivery service, aren't they?
Yeah. And so they drive around in these yellow trucks with big coolers in the back of the truck is a cooler. It's got like all these doors on the side of it.
And it is funny how iconic that truck is. Like you can Google it, a Schwann's truck.
Yeah.
And instantly it's like, yeah, everyone knows exactly what I'm looking at it. Like,
and they drive around
exactly
and they come knock on your door and ask you if you want to buy like these frozen pizzas and ice cream. And,
as a kid, it was, they're like the ice cream delivery man.
Right.
You get all their ice cream treats,
Yeah.
especially when you start thinking probably 20-ish years ago when stores didn't carry as many cool things as they do now.
Yeah.
This is where you get those awesome prepackaged cones and the push-ups and the ice cream sandwiches.
I think overall it was pretty expensive.
I think so.
In comparison to, but I guess they were also
compared to
delivering it
Walmart,
your door.
everything's expensive too, you know.
True. Well, with the price of gas,
with everything going on. I think all the Schwann's trucks in town run on propane.
Really?
I believe they do. I used to drive by for my job, their old warehouse out there. Brian could tell me for sure. I believe they all run on propane now. Something to think about there.
Yeah. With everything going on, I guess the price of gas these days. Can't hardly afford to drive around anymore. Everyone's going to be walking everywhere.
Exactly.
But supporting our sporting members besides Brian, the Schwann's man. Also, we had this week. Oh, and I guess to make sure everyone knows
the Schwann's truck in the
there's a Schwann's
Discord.
truck. To make sure everyone knows what supporting our supporting members is, we have this group of supporting members. They support the Massenomics podcast. By them supporting the podcast, they get access to a whole bunch of cool stuff, one of which they get to be on our private Discord community, which is super cool beans. There's a whole bunch of people in there. It's a very active community. They're kind of going at it all the time, every day, 24/7 around the clock. There's something going on in our Discord community. That's how active it is. By being a supporting member, you also get access to a discount code. You get to know insider tips on new drops. You get to get access to new drops early. You get insider information on like secret Massenomics stuff that we don't tell the greater public. You know, you get
We don't even tell each other.
secret insights.
We just
about,
have to
like,
go to the Discord to find out about
there's
it.
like a stolen toilet paper story that is just very active in the Discord because it's never been released to the whole public. So like if you want to know what is this stolen toilet paper, actually, what is this borrowed toilet
There
paper
you
story,
Yeah.
you would have to become a supporting member. But it is borrowed toilet paper. That's an important distinction in that particular story. But to learn about that and more stories like that, become a supporting member. And this is our chance to give back to those people. So number one here, Big Kevin, who we actually just met at the Arnold this year, Big Kevin RSG,
Mm-hmm.
he competed. He had a 440 squat, which was a PR, a 259 bench, and a 490-pound deadlift, which
Nice.
that was a PR also. His total was 1189. I assume with the PR squat and PR deadlift that was a total PR of 1189.
Nice.
So nice work, Big Kevin.
1200's right there.
Yep, just right within grasp. Then next one is Brandon Campbell. You mentioned that in
Yeah.
there that
Brandon Campbell,
his most recent YouTube video.
giving Massenomics Discord a shout out as
Yes.
being one of the 2 Discords he's a part of.
Right, he was kind of commenting like how he's an old man and he doesn't, just kind of trying to figure out Discord, and it just became apparent to me what the Discord logo is, like like that thing. Like,
Isn't it just kind of like a Space Invader kind of guy?
I thought it was like a game controller.
Oh, maybe it
That's
is.
a
I always
smiley
thought
like-
it kind of looked like a little Space Invader guy. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, to me it's because
I honestly, it's
to
funny.
me
you say
it's a
that.
game controller that also looks like a face.
Yes,
You
I
know?
always saw the face in it, but it's funny that you say that because now I'm just realizing I've honestly never really actually paid attention. to
Yeah,
it.
because because Discord primarily started off for gamers.
Yep.
And like that. After kind of thinking about that, I'm like, oh, that has to be a game controller too, isn't it?
Yep, that's right. It is.
And I had never really thought about that before.
It can be seen as a play on a stylized gaming controller with the grips curled down, forming a smile, which can also be seen as a face.
Good stuff. Now, do we need to get into some advertisements? So, but thank you, supporting members. Great job.
Okay, today's episode is brought to you by SwissLink. In 1995, Maurice Big Mo Huffman
Big
founded
Mo.
SwissLink. He had a partner based in Switzerland, and their mission was to bring authentic Swiss Army goods to the United States and into the hands of those yearning for quality gear at uncompromised prices. Over the years, that mission expanded to nations across Europe and beyond. Now, for nearly 3 decades, Big Mo has been traveling far and wide in search of the best items for military forces around the world. Big Mo doesn't only find authentic military clothing for SwissLink, he brings in everything you can imagine from Czech army bedpans to Italian champagne glasses. At SwissLink.com, you can find classic military surplus uniforms, a great selection of military-issue backpacks, tools, wool blankets, NATO fuel cans, gas masks, emergency food, first aid kits, survival packs, camping gear, and so much more. SwissLink's unrivaled collection and dedication to quality customer service sets them apart from the rest. Treat yourself to the real thing with authentic military surplus and save 15% off your first order from SwissLink.com with the code MASS at checkout. That's SwissLink.com, SwissLink.com. Thank you, SwissLink. This episode is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Capps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid-70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he'd ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit TexasPowerBars.com.
All right, Texas Power Bars. Classic. Should we get Big Phil on the horn now?
Should we do it?
And say goodbye to the Discord crew.
Bye, Discord. All right.
Now, Big Phil.
Hello,
Big Phil, is that you?
that's me. What's up?
Excellent. You're live on the podcast with Tanner and Tommy.
Woo!
What's up, Phil?
Not much, man.
Long time no see.
I know it's been like 2 weeks.
It's too long
I
for
fucking
us.
missed you guys.
We figured.
Yeah.
Is it true that some of your family is in South Dakota right now?
They are in South Dakota right now. Yes.
Where at? Are they not in western northeast South Dakota, are they? We could have
No,
them for
they're in western South Dakota.
Are they in the Black
So-
It's
Hills?
more scenic for
Yeah,
sure.
they're in the Black Hills.
Okay.
My wife's brother lives in Rapid City,
Oh,
okay.
excellent.
so we go up there a couple times a year.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So,
Would you ever consider doing a meet in Rapid City? They have a few powerlifting meets there every year.
I would do one. Yeah.
That'd be pretty fun. I did one in
Yeah.
Rapid last year. That'd be fun if we met up and did one there sometime.
Yeah, it'd be badass.
The Black.
If they do one around November, do they
Okay.
do one in the winter?
Oh, let's see. I did one in July, and then I think they do a second one. So they do ones. I don't know if it's in the front side of winter or the back side. I don't know.
I usually do one in the fall or whatever
Okay.
is when I do them. But
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll keep you posted, and I know about.
Yeah, let me
this.
know.
Yeah.
yeah, because I always travel. This year I went to Ohio and competed down there in Columbus. But
Yeah. So the Black Hills is a pretty cool place. I mean, we got a lot of listeners that probably haven't been there before, but it's that's kind of the shining star of South Dakota a lot of times.
yeah, that's pretty much all there is there.
Well, in Massenomics Gym.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So it's a lot like Kansas, but we don't have the Black Hills, so we have nothing. So
Well, we'll get to some of the other stuff we got there that you got there, but
Yeah.
So we did just see you at the Arnold. It was fun. Got to talk to you for a little bit there. We're pretty busy with our booth the whole time, so we don't actually get to do that much like we
Fun stuff.
Yeah, right.
yeah, yeah.
Right. I mean, we get to talk to everyone for a little while, which is really fun, but it'd be probably more fun to, be able to hang out and have a few more beers and do that sort of thing, but still cool.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Right.
So you guys missed out.
You're right. I know we did.
Yeah, we saw everyone else having the fun.
Yeah, right.
You missed the best part of the Arnold.
What was the best part?
We went and watched that slap boxing, and I was with Wendler,
Yep.
and Arnold was on stage, and Arnold left after 3 fights. He's driving through the crowd. He's maybe 5 feet from us, and Jim goes off. You stupid son of a bitch! Fuck you! And he just starts going off on Arnold at the Arnold. It was fucking amazing.
Do you think you could hear him?
Oh, he heard him, and the whole crowd cheered.
So was he in a golf cart or did he have his?
Yeah, he was in his golf cart.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I did not see him once the entire. I didn't even know
Oh,
about
in
this
the
golf cart
in the
thing.
past years, I've seen him a little bit
Yeah,
more often, but
I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever not seen him once before.
Also,
This is-
there's obviously, like, I'm sure you noticed too, to compared to other years, there's a little bit less of a crowd there, of course, this year than
Oh,
there
yeah.
has been in
Yeah.
the past. So it kind of took away some of that feeling where it's like if somebody, famous or whatever is coming through, where they're like literally like
it doesn't take a huge
plowing a
act to
path.
clear that.
Yeah.
out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what were you? What what was your takeaway on the Arnold? I mean, obviously there's less people there, less booths and stuff like that. And do you think it'll be building back up from this in the future years, or coming back down? Like, what's your guess?
I'm guessing it'll slowly go back up. I enjoyed it because it wasn't so fucking crowded.
Exactly.
You know, what was it? 2020 was canceled, right?
Yes.
And 21.
2019
so 19
was
was
the last big one.
insane.
Yes.
And that was the year that like the fire department shut it down.
Yeah.
And they were letting one person in, one person out. That was just too much. It was you know, there was room for everybody to work and, you know, show their ILS. You know, he had a bunch of lat syndrome going on, and people had room to spread out like that. So, I liked it. You know, it was good.
Yeah, there's still more than enough people there. It's just not where it's like your front row of a concert, unable to like breathe or get across the aisle. Yeah,
exactly. So, no, it was good. Like it was, and for that reason, it's the longest we've hung out. Normally, we go in there for like 20 minutes, we get the hell out.
Right.
It was down to enough people. We were like, okay, let's hang out for a while.
It's kind of surprising to me. I don't know. Obviously, I don't basically know Jim at all, other than what, you know, I've seen of him on podcasts and that sort of thing. And but I'm surprised that he goes to that at all almost.
Yeah, he has to get out of his house once a year. So that's it's in the contract. We got a contract, and so he gets out once a year, so everybody knows he's still alive.
And then marks it off the list, like, yep, there it is.
And that's it. And then he just goes home. Yep. And then he just stays in his hometown. So there. But, no, it's always good. We catch up, and you know, me and him always go together, and then we quickly head across the street to that Barley's Brew House or whatever it is, and get some wings and sit there.
Did we eat? Is that one of the ones we went to one of those nights?
I think the first night we went there.
Yeah, I think we did.
It's directly across the street. It's good food. Yeah. So.
No, that's good. So backing up a little bit, like, you don't have to even necessarily get super into detail on every part of it, but it's kind of interesting. I think you've got almost like a troubadour style strength training history where you've done a lot of like different unique things in unique places with unique individuals. So like, what is like if you just like went like the chronological order of the different places and people that you kind of went with there, you know, like from the 10,000 foot view, because it's pretty like it's
eclectic.
It's eclectic. Yeah, that's a good
I've bounced all over the place. Right. Let's see how this started. So as far as competing and stuff, I got into it late. I started that in my 30s, but before that, I got into training. I was really overweight, and not in a good way. And got into training, started that, fell in love with it, somehow landed a position at T-Nation. So I worked there for like 6 years. That allowed me that's how I met Lonnie and everybody like that, Lonnie Lowry, Dr. Lowry. With them, I traveled a ton. So this was back when the Olympia was big. So I'd go and travel, and I worked with Pavel and a bunch of those people. It was more in the bodybuilding type stuff. But
what were you doing like, what was your role there?
I started out as a forum moderator and then worked up from there. I was the second, if anybody's just familiar with T-Nation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was basically Chris Schugert and TC Loma, who was running, and they're still there. And then they hired me and one other person. So I was like their second, third employee or whatever it was. And then we kind of built up from there. I worked for them for 6 years. Started as forum moderator, kind of moved up. I was helping coach and just answer questions to people for years. And with them, I just had open access to all these coaches. And that's where I met Dave Tate. You know, I threw a seminar this is back when seminars weren't happening. I threw a seminar in Washington, D.C., and Dave actually saved my ass. It was called the Test Fest because I worked there, but it was my own seminar. And I booked a Hilton in downtown Washington, D.C. They're like fucking conference room or whatever it was.
Yep.
And we posted that shit up, and I had Dan John and a bunch of other people coming to talk. And I'm 3 weeks out from this thing and had sold like 4 tickets. So I was in the hole like 20 grand.
It's always a good feeling, right?
Probably
I was
like a little
fuck,
nervous at that point in time.
Yeah, I'm fucked because I was paying all the presenters. You know, at that time, nobody was getting paid to present. And I was like, okay, I'm going to pay you guys all. Had all them paid. Had the Hilton booked. A block of rooms booked out. And like I said, had like 3 tickets sold. Dave caught word of it, and he came on board and said he'd come talk for free, and at Elite FTS would give away 10 grand worth of equipment if it sold out. In like 2 days, it sold out. So he totally saved my ass, and I didn't know him at all. Like, we had chatted a bit, but so that got us to meet each other. And then shit, from there, I lived in Thailand for a year. I worked at the Olympic Training Center there. Also Dennis James's gym that was in Thailand. And that's where I kind of fell in with a guy and started strongman training with Calvin Neff. Calvin competed in powerlifting with Louis Simmons and a bunch of other people. So I kind of went under, learned from him, started doing the strongman thing, lived in Thailand for a year, moved back briefly, moved to Montana for a second, then back to Kansas, and started competing in strongman. This is what I started in, and did a bunch of those and blew my first bicep doing Atlas stones.
Yep.
Did a few more strongman things, then decided to try a powerlifting meet, and went on and won the WPF Worlds. And that was back when 700 deadlift was big. Now that it's not shit. But sadly.
Yeah.
Then I landed a job in Phoenix, Arizona with Charles Staley Training Systems. There, again, I bounced around a bunch, spent a lot of time down with Rippetoe, with Wendler. 3 years there. I moved up and went out on my own, and then started helping with Jesse Burdick up in Northern California. And then brief time there. Then we decided to get a farm, moved back to Kansas, and opened a gym. And that's kind of the short and skinny.
And
but
that's
basically,
it, huh?
yeah, that's it. For 15 years, I traveled all around the world, and there were a lot of other stops in there. And I learned from Sarah Robles. I learned Olympic.
Yeah.
Decided I need to learn Olympic weightlifting, and while I was in Phoenix, Arizona. So Sarah Robles has started training at a place in Phoenix. And it's anybody that doesn't know Sarah, she's been in the Olympics 2 times now for us. Won a world championship, and basically, this is how I learned all my shit. I decided to take the old school model of just be an apprentice. So I'd just call people up and they'd say, hey, I want to learn. Can I come? And they'd say, fuck yeah. So I'd load my truck. Basically, I lived down in my truck for 15 years.
Yeah.
And so I started going, and how I learned Olympic weightlifting, I learned from her coach. I just went in and shut up and watched and learned that. And I did that with a bunch of people. So I'd just call them up and fucking come out and shut up and sit there and learn. And even crotchety old bastards like Mark Rippetoe. I mean, there's shit to learn, and people fuck up there. Everybody has something to teach you if you're smart enough to shut the hell up and digest it and learn. Like 99% of what Mark teaches, I think I don't do it, but he has some gems you can catch, and everybody does.
Right.
And I consider Mark a friend of mine, even though we don't agree on training. But like, he still tells me I don't know how to deadlift. He wrote me one day, like, I pulled 780, and he's like, well, it's still wrong, but you're doing something okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, and and then, I got tight with Jim when me and Jim actually first met in person when I was up with Burdick in Northern California. And then me and Jim came tight, and then it's just kind of, it's kind of went crazy from there. We started Iron Radio when I was in Phoenix, which was like 14 years ago. And that, of course, led to more people.
And so were you did you get in on Iron Radio, like on episode 1?
I was day one. Yeah. Me and Lonnie started it.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it was fucking, you go back to day one and it was, oh my God, the recording was just horrible.
So
the sound quality.
Yeah. So that's a whole nother thing that we want to talk to you about.
That is
for sure. Especially you're episode 311 of the Massenomics podcast. So I mean, we've been going on it quite a while. I think Iron Radio, I looked, it's like 660.
Yeah, we're way up there.
Yeah, I think it's 667. So, I mean, we've been doing this every single week for, I mean, next week will be 6 years that we've never missed a week.
Yeah.
You've done more than twice as many episodes as us still.
Yeah, we're over 12 years in.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Well, we were it. Like, as far as I know, we are still the longest running fitness podcast.
Has
ever.
to be.
Well, yeah, like what?
Yeah.
Like what else is out there?
When you guys first started, what was it did people listen to it on like Apple Podcasts or like what was the
Oh, no, it didn't even exist. I'm not even sure an iPhone existed.
Right.
No, we used this. I don't even remember the name of the fucking system. It was some recording system. And
yeah.
Well, how
if
did
you listen to it,
how were you even familiar? Like, how are you familiar with
Like
podcasts
how did
at
it
the
really
time?
how did the podcast specifically start? Yeah.
well, me and Lonnie decided we wanted to start something, and basically we wanted a way to give back that was free. And the other thing that we latched onto from day one was we were going to be non-biased or whatever you call it. Basically, we don't take sponsors, even though we've had people like come to us and try and hawk their shit. And we're like, we're not doing that.
Yep.
You know, we're just going to keep this kind of an NPR format where it's free and we just talk about what we want. And I don't remember the name of the system, but there was like a system where you could call in, and I had a fucking buttons I could push and make weird sounds with it and shit. So I was having fun with that. It was trash. Like the first year was trash as far as, I mean, the content's good, but the audio sucks.
Right.
And my dumb ass sitting there playing with buttons and pushing applause buttons and things. And then we moved on from there and just kind of learned how to do it.
Yeah, that is.
No one was doing it. We were just like, fuck it, let's do it.
Because that's the thing.
Joe Rogan wasn't podcasting.
Yeah, you look at
then,
like
you know,
2010. I mean, in 2010, if you asked 100 people what a podcast is, would like one of them know what that word meant?
I bet
No.
it's something like
Yeah.
I mean, were you guys calling it a podcast? Like, was that what you said you were doing? Was like
No,
right.
that didn't exist.
Right.
We were just Iron Radio.
Right. Right.
So
It's funny you were podcasting before people said the word podcast, basically.
yeah. And then we got booted because we didn't know any of the shit. We didn't know the rules to any of it. So like I led our lead song for the podcast was something by Slayer.
Oh, sure.
And of course, like after a year and a half, they're like, nope, can't fucking do that. And oh fuck. So yeah, basically my brother is a singer in a band, so I use all his music now because he can just eat a dick. Yeah, he's not gonna get money from me.
Right.
I make no money. I've made like 14 cents off Iron Radio in 12 years.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, and that's where we're at now. Lonnie was back on this week. He got a new job.
Why has he not been on? I noticed that, and I missed.
He got a new job, and it's a conflict of interest. He's no longer a professor. So, but now he's able to bounce on. He'll be coming on at least once a month, and stuff like that. So that's good. But I'm the only one left from the beginning.
Who else was in the original?
At the very beginning, it was
how many
me.
different hosts have there been?
Well, it was me, Lonnie. There was 4 of us at the beginning.
Okay.
Me, Lonnie, Charles Staley, and Rob Fortney. It wasn't long, and we booted Charles, and it came back down. And I don't even need to go into that, but anyways. What's that old saying? Like Dan John called me, but it's like if you don't have something nice to say, you just don't say anything.
Yeah.
So, and that says a lot. But so then for a long time, it was me, Lonnie, and Rob for I don't know 5-6 years.
Right.
And then Mike would jump on every now and again, and we've had some other people, and John Mike and things like that. But the 2 constants were always me and Lonnie.
Okay.
And then this just came up, and Lonnie couldn't turn it down. It was a lot more money and things like that. So you can't blame him. But
more money, more problems, though. That's what
exactly, for sure. Yeah, I mean
you can't.
I don't know anything about
that's
that,
a problem right there.
Yeah, because I like when I started listening. What is it, Rob? What's his last name?
Fortney.
Yeah, see, he was already not on it, but he's always still in the introduction, and I'm like, I never really listened to the back catalog, but I always assumed like, this is obviously somebody that used to be on here that isn't anymore.
Yeah, and Rob was a good dude. He just got busy with life,
right?
And not everybody can live broke like I do, and just fucking be a powerlifter for a living.
12 years is a long time. To do anything for 12 years is a very long time.
Yeah, I can't stop now.
Right.
And that's what, like, there was the choice. It was like, well, we could just end it. I'm like, fuck that. It's been 12 years. I'm going to run this son of a bitch till I die. You know?
You guys better not stop, because then we only need like 6 years to catch, like if you guys,
the gap will be closing.
if you
in a
guys
hurry.
stop, we'll
I know.
chipping away at that gap. Cause there's probably not that many between like you guys were so far in front. I bet there's not that many fitness podcasts in between your 12 years and our 6. Like, I bet there's just a few.
There's not hundreds of them that are in the 800
I
episode.
think like Barbell Shrugged still exists, and they exist before us. That was kind of like CrossFit, but I think they still exist, so they'd be in there, but there wouldn't be that many, I bet, between us.
No. And I mean, the only reason Rogan has more shows than us is he does more than one a week.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
If we did like 4 a week, fuck, we'd have, oh God.
Yeah.
But it's just once a week. And that was our plan too, from the start, was consistency. And that's where most people fuck up if they start a podcast. It all sounds neat when you start it and you're fucking gung ho.
Yep.
And then a month goes by. And it's like, fuck, we got to do this shit again.
Well, then it's like, I actually had a few
and-
things a few other things I needed to get done this week. I'm not sure if I can make that work again.
Yeah. And it's just, that's the promise we made, is like, we're just going to do it every week. And that, of course, I've gotten some up slow, especially in this transition, because Lonnie did all that shit.
Yep.
Like, basically, I just used to have to show up and be pretty. And now I have to record it and fucking do all that shit. So, and send it off. So I'll get busy, and then I forget, oh fuck, we record that Saturday. It's Tuesday. I better give it to my web guy. Yeah. So, it's a lot of fun.
I believe that was the first podcast Massenomics was ever on, wasn't it, Tanner?
Like that we got that you and I are actually on. That might have been.
I think it was.
Right, too.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That might have been.
We're famous now.
Yep. It put us on the map.
Put us on the map.
Yeah.
There you go.
It wasn't long after that we were on Starting Strength podcast and some other. So yeah, we got to be on Rip's podcast, which was it was it was a fun experience.
It was an experience.
Oh yeah, he's a good dude. He's a crotchety old fucker, but he's a good guy. So you got to go down there sometimes. You guys need to make a trip down there.
See, I'd like to get, I'm kind of jealous of like what you've done, because you've gone to these places and done those, like we've got an open invitation to go out to Elite FTS and stuff too. And that's another thing where I'm like I just have to just got to like mark it off the bucket list. Almost.
Oh, it's a blast. Man. Yeah. All that stuff's fun. And I used to go down and see Mark once a month and just hang out. But that was the first place I went to, because I grew up in Kansas, and like we were still like, until 5 years ago, like you couldn't buy beer on Sundays.
Oh, okay.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm down there with Mark, and he pulls up to like a Sonic looking restaurant, and they fucking bring us beer, and we're drinking in the car. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
This is badass. But, so.
Yeah. In your competitive career, have you had hip replacement surgery? Is that
total hip replacement?
Okay.
Yep.
And now you still compete. Do you compete single ply now, or what do you?
I just started. I did my first single ply meet. Yep.
Okay.
So on my hip replacement, I squatted. My heaviest squat on hip replacement is 722 with a fake hip.
Yep.
So and then I did single ply 776 at this last meet. So
what do you think of the single ply, like now that you've gotten into it a little bit in comparison? Like how are you liking it, or like is it just making training a thing you can do longer? Because pretty much. So my whole goal, like I knew I wouldn't be the best powerlifter in the world, but like Iron Radio, if I can just outlast all you fuckers, I'm gonna set all the records at like 93. So that's no. I tried retiring after, so I blew my total hip replacement. And then I was coming back from that. I was probably a year out of hip replacement. And I was doing my first heavy deadlifts, and I deadlifted 645. Basically, I was training myself to be on 2 legs again, because I pulled 780 pretty much one-legged with a bad hip, because I had a bad hip for about 8 years. But I'm training myself to be on 2 legs again. I pulled 645, and it felt fine. So I was like, let's do 675. And I made it up to about my knee, and all the weight shifted to one leg. And I tore my hamstring off the bone from the hip. So I was like, fuck.
I had to go through that, which is the worst fucking surgery ever. I don't suggest it for anybody, and I've had a lot of surgeries.
Wouldn't recommend.
And no, you're fucking locked in this goddamn. So basically, they put me in a brace that straps around your knee, then it straps around your hip,
Okay.
and it straps right under your chest. So basically, you can do two things: you can lay down or stand up. So I had to drop bombs. I had to fucking shit for like 2 weeks standing up. Just spread the legs and fucking hope for the best.
Oh man, there's a lot of hoping going on there.
Sometimes when you're literally sitting on the toilet, there's a lot of variability of where things can go.
Yeah, no, it
now
was
we're
bad.
adding feet of distance.
Like when you're sitting there, things can get in places. You're like, how is that possible?
Yeah. So, and anyways, the whole hip replacement thing and all that, but and all that stems back from basically I was ran over when I was 7 years old. So when I was 7 years old, you know, the utility trucks that like fix power lines and shit.
Yeah.
One of those backed over me. So that broke my pelvis in 16 places, severed my femoral artery. And they said I wouldn't live. And then somehow I fucking lived. And then they're like, you're going to lose your leg. And then I kept my leg. And then, okay, well, you'll never walk again. And that was kind of the last thing. And basically I told them to eat a dick and learned how to walk again.
Yeah.
And then from there, I was never supposed to play sports and stuff.
Have you ever thought that you are kind of a real life Forrest Gump?
Yeah, kind of. Only just prettier.
Between like I'm just thinking, it's hitting me right now. Like there's a lot like this, like you weren't gonna walk, and like all of a sudden, you know, like I picture you were out running and like the braces are like flying off of you, and then later in life, like all these experiences that you've had.
I guess I'll go to Thailand.
Yeah,
like, there you go.
So I went to Thailand.
I got a riding lawnmower too, but yeah. So that's true. Long story short, basically, I had a cool vascular surgeon, and at some point when I was probably middle school, he just came to our parents and he said, "You guys need to just let this kid do what he's going to do. Will it can it kill him? Potentially." I said, but he's not going to be happy, you know, and he kind of got them to take the reins off and just said, just do it. You know, even though, you know, I potentially went, so they replaced my femoral artery with a vein. So if you look at my left leg, like all the vein, there's a main vein missing. So that I have restricted blood flow in that leg and have forever. But, yeah, I just said, fuck it and did it and played football and shit like that and loved it. And then I got into drinking and shit like that for a while, but,
who didn't?
Anyway, yeah. So, but that's the long story short. That's why the hip went bad. So basically, it was my left hip, and they said basically they equated it to a car running on bad alignment, and the part just wore out a lot faster.
Right,
is why that hip went bad. And then you know, my orthopedic surgeon just told me, like, roll with it as long as you can, because I was like 27 and needed a hip, and he's like, just keep going until you cannot take it anymore, because the hips only last so long.
Right.
And,
so how old were you when you got the new hip?
30, what would it be? 39.
Okay. How long does it last, presumably?
Supposed to be a 25-year hip. He said he'd be unhappy if it didn't last 15 with what I do.
So is it possible you could have to get, like, you would get that replaced again?
Oh, I'm gonna have to get another one. Yeah, because I'm 6 years into it already.
Right. I mean, so, you're not that old of a guy. You know, I mean, when you get to that 39, if you figure 15 years, you know, you're not gonna want to live the last 20, 25 years of your life with a hip that doesn't work. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So basically, I'll be getting another one at some point, but right now it's good. And so basically, the move to single ply was just like you said, it was just longevity. You know, I squatted that 722 on a fake hip, and all the suit does really is it evens my hips back out, because I'll squat. Basically, I always get a red light if I'm not in the suit, because my left hip's high and I drop the right one low. In the suit, they even out. And you know, the biggest thing for me was just getting used to it. And I don't know. I don't get all these people talk about a ton of fucking carryover, and I've talked to everybody, and I got the best suit you can get. And I'm getting probably 50 pounds out of it.
Right.
So it's not like the multiply stuff and dealing with it.
Right.
But,
yeah,
I mean,
on your hip, you know, when you were still going at it raw here after your hip replacement,
Yeah.
Was it painful in your hip still? I mean, would you describe it as pain still, or is it different than that?
No, not really. Pain's pretty
Yeah.
much all gone. It's
Yeah.
just I started having knee pain
Sure.
because my hip moves weird.
Yeah, right.
And that's all my knee pain goes away with the single ply. And I figured too, I mean, my biggest thing that led me to single ply was probably the fact that when I started powerlifting, like Jim and Dave and Chuck Vogapol and all those guys were the big thing on the scene. So I'd show up to powerlifting meets and there'd be 35 people at the 4 powerlifting meets a year.
Right.
And I was the raw dude. I was the only raw guy. And then like a year ago, I'm looking around and I was like, there's nobody fucking lifting equipped. Fuck it. It's my turn to do it. I'm going to be the only equipped guy. So now I show up and I'm the one equipped guy at meets. And it's like, okay, this is where I fit. This is what I need to be doing. So,
Yep.
And it's just trying something new. It makes it fun again because it is a little different. The training's a little bit different and the groove for it's a little different. I still spent, like we did that meet in November and I just put my suit back on 2 weeks ago. So I still do some raw training. And then I put my suit back on and I'll train from now until November in the suit. So I bench raw still.
Okay.
So my bench is dumb. So I don't even pay attention.
It's just there.
It's the stupidest fucking event ever. Yeah. Like, let's have you lay down and do something. I was like, oh, fuck. Okay. But, yeah. So.
Yeah, now the single heaviest powerlifting lift of all time is in the bench press. The guy, you know, in the like those band, whatever those.
What even was it?
Like those band bench shirts or whatever. They're relatively new. Or
yeah,
something. Like the guy did like.
Was it 13? Is that
to me? It's a weird thing if the bench is now heavier is heavier than either the squat or the deadlift.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but look at the carryover they're getting.
Right.
Because what's like the best? Some dude, that one Iranian guy just benched 800 or whatever. It was.
Right. Yeah.
But compare that to the biggest raw squat or biggest raw deadlift.
Right. There's not.
They're getting a shitload of. What did Mendelsohn do? Mendelsohn like benched 12 or some shit and in a shirt, but his best was like 720.
Yeah, 720.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a shitload of carryover there. But
right.
The problem with mine is I blew my shoulder. I was doing one of it was one of Mark Bell's backyard meets or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Way back.
Meet of the century, backyard meet of the century.
Yeah, it was one of those. It was and it was one of the first ones, and I benched, and about halfway up, there were 3 loud, audible clicks, and with each click, the bar sank further down on me, and I pretty much obliterated my labrum. So I've been back over 400 a few times since then, but it takes a lot of fucking work, and I just can't get myself to go. I've had a ton of surgeries. And I can't get myself to go under a knife just to bench more.
Right.
Yeah.
Because daily life is fine. I can do everything else in daily life. And it's like, I can't. My wife would probably kill me too. So
you being at one of those backyard meets at the super training thing, it further is emphasizing my point that you are like the lifting world real life Forrest Gump. That is
those
just
are like,
solidifying
the one especially that he has the YouTube video on is like iconic early 2000s.
You know, like
the one where Mark where
Dan Green's there and
Stan
and like that was the one where fucking I deadlifted. I don't remember. It was deadlifted 750 or whatever after I blew my fucking shoulder. And so what happened was I set the bar down and I just bail. I leave real fast. And everybody's like, where'd you go? And I shit myself. I fucking shit myself pulling 750. And so I was like, I gotta go, guys. Yeah. And I come out of the back room and there's Jim McDonald and he shoves a fucking camera in my face right away. And he's like, and that's what the YouTube video is. Like I look high as shit because I just got done deadlifting and I just cleaned my asshole.
Yeah. As best you probably could.
Exactly. And he throws the camera in my face.
Let's be real. It probably wasn't super clean.
That was before, and that was before powerlifting meets had like underwear rules and shit. But no, I'm so old and into this. Like APF was the big thing,
right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've lifted in pretty much every federation except for the one that banned me, which is USAPL. I talked to Ed Cohn and they banned me. So
So you did get banned?
Well, I got officially banned. They wrote me a letter, and it's because I had that federation going for a while. USFF. Fuck, I don't remember.
You had
We
a
had our own
federation.
time.
You had a federation.
Yeah,
Okay.
and basically what we did, and we were the only federation that I know of, we just didn't have a drug policy.
Sure.
And because we didn't have a drug policy, they fucking banned me.
Okay.
Because we were like, take whatever they want or don't take anything. I don't care. You know, and basically we gave cash away at every meet is what we did. So we had set limits. Like you could only pay, it was $50 to get in, and $5 of that $50 went right back to the athletes. And I'm not big on participation trophies, and I hate going to meets where like they give out 300 awards.
Yeah.
We gave out one award. We had best lifter. That's it. And you got cash. You got all the cash.
Yep.
So,
there's a certain weirdness to it when you go and someone, you know, they do one powerlifting meet just like everyone else does. And like, there'll be people that have like four medals,
10
I'm like,
awards.
no, this is not necessary. Like, let's not do that. Like, we don't need to do that.
yeah, the one-legged Masters firefighter division shouldn't be a thing. There's only fucking one of them.
Well, and there's only so many of us doing this sport. You know, you gotta you gotta go pretty far and wide to find enough of us to get together to do one. Like you don't need to. It doesn't. You know.
Yeah, cash out on all the trophies.
Exactly. It's like I'm not a trophy grabber. I just give them to my kid, and you know he likes them. But
yeah,
I just do it because I love it.
The other thing we got to touch on quick is, you know, business wise, I mean, I don't know how much even we don't have to explain everything, but you work with a whole bunch of other companies in the industry where, I don't know, you do printing, sourcing, fulfillment, all that sort of stuff. Like what are some of the companies you work with that people would recognize, obviously?
That they know. Elite FCS, Jim Wendler, Hate Brand Goods, Deadlift and Donuts, Power Athlete, Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, it's a pretty good lineup right there already.
Yeah,
there's a ton of them. The SBC. I also make a lot of the stuff for FEMA and Department of Home Defense, and it's all across the board. So basically, all that would happen. We can go into this a little bit. I have a master's degree in art that I never used, and that's when I was doing that when I worked for T Nation, and then I landed the gig and moved to Thailand and shit like that, and then turned my attention 100% to the fitness industry. But when I moved up to, basically I got a family is what happened.
Yep.
And then you have kids. Yeah. And then you're like, I was used to living out of my truck making like $500 a week.
Yeah.
And now I got a kid to take care of and a wife. And so basically I started making shirts and shit for people. And Wendler was my first, Jim was my first client and in the fitness industry. And then it kind of ballooned from there. So yeah, I do everything. So like anything on Jim's store, I make it. We print his books. We do his shirts. We do his hats. We do his straps. We do his freaking sleeves. We do anything across the board. So Prescript, we do their stuff now. Jordan Shallow.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, and we make it, we store it, we ship it, we pack it, and all that stuff. So, and then some of them like Elite FDS, of course, they have their own warehouse. So I send them their shirts and things like that. But do a lot of design work for them and things. So basically, I started that because I needed I learned what I didn't want to be in the fitness world. When I was in Phoenix, the fee to train with me was $350 an hour. When you have a fee like that, you're not working with athletes.
Right. Yeah. Because those people
and
don't have that much money.
Athletes are
they don't have the money to do that. Like
no.
Right.
So yeah. So basically I figured out what I didn't want to be and was that. Like I didn't want to be the word now is fit pro, and I'm not a fucking fit pro. So I wanted to keep working with athletes and things like that. But if you do that, your price has to be lower. But I needed to support a family. So basically I started that. And it just ballooned up. They started with me in my basement, and now it's me and 14 employees in a 60,000 square foot warehouse.
That's what I was gonna ask you. You must have a lot of square feet.
Yeah. Well, I lucked out there too, because I was getting ready. We were getting ready to break ground on a warehouse to build. It was just going to be 6,000 square feet. And about a little less than a mile from me, a building that was built in 1894 came up for tax auction. It got seized by the state for taxes. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go to the auction. And nobody else showed up. So I got a 60,000 square foot warehouse for $14,000.
What the hell?
I paid the back taxes on it.
Yeah.
Even by
And I
Midwest
did
standards. That's cheap.
Yeah, that's low. But I've put money into it.
Right,
We reroofed
right.
it and things like that.
But in comparison to build it, breaking ground.
I paid like 4 cents a square foot.
Like 14 grand might have like paid for the garage doors, or from the overhead doors on the other building.
Yeah, because the 6,000 square foot building I was building was going to be like 75,000.
Right.
So yeah, it worked out great, and I didn't need that space at the time, so I still rented out like half of it, and then we just grew, and we grew into the whole thing, and now I'm real close to needing another one. So, but
that's
that's kind of what I do, man. It's like I go and I coach people in the morning, and then I do that shit all day. And the awesome thing is basically I turned it into. I deal 99% of the people I deal with are in the fitness industry.
Right.
So it helps me. It's my creative outlet, and I'm able to design stuff or work with their designers, and then we just make badass shit. So
how many hours a week do you think you work?
All of them. So my average day is 12 to 14 hour day.
Yeah.
And then I
I'd be
take Sundays
surprised
off.
If you said much less than that, probably.
No, I mean, it's just, So, yeah. But I mean, it's all, what's the stupid saying? It's like, you never work a day in your life if you do what you love.
Right.
So, yeah, no. And then, slowly, most of my employees are all lifters of mine. So they started out as clients in the gym, and then I snuck them into working for me.
That's cool.
So, so it's a good thing.
The old farming system there.
Yep.
Scout the talent. Pick
Well,
them
and
up.
by the time you've coached someone for a while, you kind of know, like, if they're not a piece of shit, like you're like, it's a good vetting system. You're like, you could work for me, like I can tell.
Yeah. And then it's also transferred. It's helped my training stuff, my gym, because now I'm at a position I don't need it. I don't need the gym. I just love it.
Right.
So if somebody doesn't fit, you're fucking gone real fast.
Yeah.
It's like you need you more than I need you. Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
So that's helped. So I mean, the gym's actually whittled down.
In the gym, we have Massenomics gym.
Yep.
It's our I don't know. It's semi open to the public ish, but it's kind of a club gym. It's not advertised, you gotta know somebody to get in, and like it kind of self weeds people out that, don't fit the culture probably.
Oh yeah.
And I much more enjoy that than if we came at the gym from a perspective of it having to be a profit center. Could get into some situations where it's like becomes impossible to have the vibe that you want to have and be able to do the things you want to do. And then all of a sudden, like I would be like, I feel like this is missing the
point of the
right
thing.
where I'm like, all of a sudden it doesn't serve the original point of the gym to begin with.
Yeah. Yep. No, I agree 100%. And that's the gym changes constantly. Like, I mean, even since we started, the one constant about the gym is change. You're always going to have new people. Like, I don't know how many kids I've brought up from, I see them through high school, and then they go to college, and then they come back. And then, so it's always this change, but, and people fall out of it. Like, you can't expect everybody to fucking powerlift until they're 45, 50, stuff like that. So people get in the sport and leave. I mean, I'm just a weird one, and I'll do it. I long ago realized that I will be that dude that dies like in a squat bar with a squat bar on my back.
Right.
And I even had to tell my wife that, like, I was miserable when I retired, because I retired from like lifting for almost 2 years, and she was the one that urged me to, because of all the surgeries and shit. And then finally she's like, you need to fucking get back on the platform, because you're a fucking dick.
Yeah, you suck. You're no fun anymore. Go, go fix this.
And it's just, and I don't mind. I don't, if I die that way, whatever, that's how it happened.
Yeah.
But I just love it. And there's like, for me, I love the training. I love meets, and I don't do as many now. I used to do a ton, but now I pretty much keep myself to one a year.
Yep.
Because I'm just beat the fuck up, and I'll do some Highland games and stuff for fun.
Yep.
And things like that. But
I can relate
At
to
this-
most of that.
Yeah.
A lot of miles on the old body. So
No, that's good. Phil, we've got this game we play with everyone called Overrated, Underrated, and we got a special
Sure.
Big Phil set of topics here for you.
Oh,
And
boy.
We'll fire them off at you, and it's just your job to decide if each one's overrated or underrated, but you can't ride the line. You have to...
I have to pick one.
Yeah, you have to come up with a final answer here. So,
Yeah.
And it's some pretty serious stuff,
Oh, boy.
as you can about imagine, probably. So topic number 1, overrated or underrated, gym dogs.
Gym dogs?
Yeah.
Underrated.
Yeah.
Very underrated. I mean, you can't have a fucking gym without a dog. If you do, close the fucker down. So that's why I have 4. So I'm trying to, yeah, gotta have them.
So do you have, because that comes from having seen, you post on Instagram that you've had dogs in there. Like, are they your dogs that are in the gym, or do the members have dogs that they bring?
Oh, members can bring their dogs too. Yeah. But
Do you ever have problems with the dogs, or do they all get the vibe?
Yeah.
my big Steve, he's my biggest, newest dog. He's like 223. He does not like little dogs. So he's tried to eat a few.
Yeah.
But other than that, we don't have problems.
I was always nervous about one wanting to like sneak underneath of a deadlift or something like that,
Yeah, and that's happened. I had one of my dogs. We were throwing Highland Games, and we were throwing weight over bar.
Oof.
And I don't know how she lived. The 56-pound weight landed on her head and smashed her head between the weight and the ground.
Whoa.
And I was like, oh, my fucking dog is dead.
Yeah.
And she got up and fucking walked away. But
Wow.
yeah. Other than that, nah. I mean, and that's the same thing in the gym. Like, we allow kids. Our rule is they're not my kids, so you have to watch them. But we've had numerous kids like walk under somebody squatting and get hit with the plates in the head. And it's like, watch your fucking kid, dummy.
Yeah.
So, but we allow them. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Overrated or underrated guilds?
Guilds?
Yes.
Oh, underrated.
Okay.
I wish there was more of them. Like, if it was my world, especially, let's just narrow this down to the fitness industry. I wish there was an apprenticeship program for people that are coaching, because you just learn so much more and you'd earn those stripes. So, and be able to do what I did. Most people don't have the balls to just live out of their truck and drive around the world to learn.
Right.
And there's more to coaching than just passing your CPT test. That's just baseline knowledge. From there, I wish there was a way to apprentice with people and go into a guild type situation, and just like with a union or whatever. You started as a journeyman and move your way up, and that's kind of where the name of our gym came from. But I wish there was more like that, and you could go under somebody's wing and actually learn from them. And I think it would straighten this industry out quite a bit. But
I think that's good. Overrated or underrated, Rapid City, South Dakota?
oh, fuck. Oh, shit. I'll go with underrated just because it's there in the black. That's beautiful. Yeah, you guys got something going on there. I like that town. That and all the little ones around it. Like, years ago, I went to Sturgis has toned itself down. Yeah. I think the state did that, didn't they?
I was going to ask if you had been to the Sturgis rally before at all.
Yeah, didn't the state come in and tone that thing down, make them?
I'm not sure about that.
I think it's just a continuing effort to commercialize it more and more.
Right. I think that's as much of any of it.
It's more of just everyone trying to scrape as much money as they can out of it.
Honestly, that's kind of what I was going to say too. I think that's the bigger part than anything.
I mean,
because it used to be dirty.
Yeah,
it used to be just,
and so many of those businesses, they literally exist for 1 month of the year. They're not open the other 11 months.
Well, part of it is every doctor, lawyer, banker, and everyone else owns a Harley now too.
Yeah.
So the clientele
it's not exactly counterculture.
I mean, the Hells Angels and everyone else are still there, but there's just there's a bigger variety almost of people that show up that bring their bikes there. I think what you said is true about it being commercialized more and more.
Oh, it has. When I was there, it's been fucking 15 years ago, whatever it was. It was Miss Spearfish, I think, in one of the towns there, and they have a competition. The girl who won Miss Spearfish was on stage with a donkey doing things. So that shit doesn't happen anymore, and that was badass. Who doesn't want to see a donkey? And but it's still underrated. No, it's a beautiful part of the country. So it's definitely one of my favorites.
All right, good stuff. Last one, and last one's usually the most important one and worth all the marbles. So, overrated or underrated? The Evel Knievel Museum.
Oh, it's fucking overrated. Holy fuck! It's moving. It's fucking leaving here. Thank God. Yeah, I have never been to it, but I don't even know how the fuck it got here.
Well, you know what? Well, you want to know how it got there?
Yeah.
Jumped over a bus.
It's leaving. Odd story. A buddy of mine, pretty much my brother from another mother, just got done. They did an Evel Knievel movie here recently. Do you know that? Or they're still shooting it or some shit.
No.
Anyways, a buddy of mine that I've known my whole life, he's pretty much my brother. They gave him the Evel Knievel's car, and he had to get it back running like a month ago. So, yeah, pretty badass. But yeah, it's fucking very overrated.
No, I think it got there. It's not because he's from there or anything like that, but one of the original, there was a vehicle that was getting, it wasn't a bike, it was a truck or something like that was getting restored, and they sent it there and they finished it, and like they just kept it there, and then like they just started getting more
laziness.
I don't really know. They just started getting more stuff then.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure like Evel Knievel has no fucking ties.
No,
to
I don't think he does whatsoever.
No, yeah,
that's
and it's like it's in the basement of a Harley Davidson shop too.
Right.
So
you haven't been there. You haven't been to it before though.
No, I've driven past it numerous times. It's only about 15 minutes from my house, but I've never ventured into that fucking shithole.
Maybe you should check it out before it goes. So.
Before it leaves.
Yeah.
If they let me in for free, I'd go do it. But
yeah.
Holy shit. So, I learned something new about another thing we have that you guys can tell me if this is overrated or underrated. We have the world's largest payout for a demolition derby in the United States.
Like how
much is it?
Like how much?
Like $65 grand.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah, I had no fucking clue about this until I was at the lead FTS compound like 3 months ago, and I'm sitting there talking with Dave, and we were talking about Topeka, and some fucking random dude's like, "Oh, we go there every fucking year with our $8 million fucking derby car," and I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." So
demolition derbies can be entertaining for a little while.
I've never actually been to one before.
I mean,
you gotta go.
It's all right.
There's a few around.
I wouldn't want to go every weekend to a demolition derby, but it's not bad it's not terrible to experience.
I wouldn't be against it. I don't think I've had.
The thing about it is it's much more slow. 90% of it, there's not. Everyone's barely creeping around and stuff. There's not that much action a lot of times because things get so demolished that they, it's like spinning on 2.5 wheels and.
Yeah, it's like a powerlifting meet. Like it starts out really good with a squat. Starts out really good with a squat, and then all of a sudden bench is there, and it's boring as fuck.
Everyone fell asleep.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So that's what it's like, man.
Good news. It looks like you passed overrated, underrated.
Oh, good. Thank God. I would have had to retire from Iron Radio if I didn't.
That means we will publish this episode now. So since you passed,
okay.
So really good news. No,
good stuff.
We really appreciate getting you on, Phil. It's been a long time coming, and I'm glad we're able to get to meet you in person.
Yeah,
and talk to you for a little bit, and then hoping. Are you going to continue to do that event? With Wendler in Kansas in the future? Do you think?
Yes, we are. We're just waiting for it. So the last one we canceled in 2020, and that was because of everything going on. We have to wait until. We're not going to run another one until the world's right. Because we had so many people. We had a ton of people coming from England and Canada.
Right.
And we can't open it until they can because we're not going to take that risk of canceling again. But it's definitely on the books. But
that's one place where it's not insane. Mostly everything is really far for us. That is one particular thing that's reasonable.
Like actually doable.
Yeah, potentially doable for us. So you have to keep us posted on that too.
Yeah, no, it's a good time too because then Matt and everybody Hate Brand comes down because all their shit's here, so it just makes sense. So and we open it up and have bands out in the parking lot and Jim cursing people out and it's good. It's a good time. So
all right, cool.
But yeah, we'll do it again. I'll let you know for sure.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you coming on and don't stop Iron Radio because if you do, we're going to start to reel you in.
Right behind you.
Oh man. Okay. Yep. Not a problem, brother. So.
All right. Good stuff. Thanks, Phil.
Thanks, Phil.
Yep. Thank you. Catch you later.
All right. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Tommy, what do you give him?
Cool beans.
Got the cool beans.
Both of them. Double cool beans.
Double them up.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Topeka, Kansas. How far is that for us, do you think?
I don't know.
Is it farther or less far than Kansas City?
My brain wants to say farther.
I think it's probably farther too.
Probably not a whole lot farther though.
No, it can't be
Because what
too
was
much.
Kansas City? Was that about 8 hours?
And in comparison, that feels like nothing. Having
The
just
8
gone to
hours is
Arnold
like,
and back,
that's
I'm
it?
like,
Yeah.
like that's
Because that
not
was
a
it.
big
Kind
deal.
of felt like a pain in the ass driving down there.
What about the Shaw Classic? How far would it take? How far of a drive would that be?
Where is it actually?
I
Outside
don't
of
know.
Denver?
I don't really know. If you just said it was
Well,
how far is Denver?
Denver's 12 hours, I
Okay.
believe, which isn't also terrible either.
Yeah.
And that's like, I believe that 12 hours is like stopping for gas and eating and everything too. I don't think that's,
Yeah.
because Rapid City is halfway.
Right. Okay.
And you can get to Rapid City before
5.
noon.
Yeah. Right.
know?
Right.
Easy.
Yeah. So yeah. Right. I'm just because I was just wondering, like, because the Shaw Classic seems to be growing, and that's another thing that's not terribly far. But I also don't know that Brian would ever have the type of event where other vendors are,
Right.
because he sells everything.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
it's just the Brian Shaw show,
Yeah,
where
he's
it's
just
like,
funneling into
Yes.
into his
it's
store.
like, come on in, buy a ticket, buy some of my supplements, buy my apparel,
Then we'll let you watch the show.
pay to come and sit in line with me. We don't need Massenomics here. Like, you don't need to give them any of your money.
Yeah, I
I
don't
want it all.
I don't need anyone else taking my piece of the pie.
Right. All right. Well, that's cool beans. Something to think about.
Yeah. Keeping these dates on the calendar. Got to pencil them all in
You got to
here.
keep everything penciled in. What was there? Something I wanted to revisit?
We did have a McDonald's story.
Oh, the McDonald's thing?
I think I wrote one other thing down just so we don't forget here.
Okay.
We have McDonald's. That'd be the one.
McDonald's.
That is it. You've been hyping this up for
Should
well
we-
over a month now.
Should I
Tanner.
bring it up now?
I suppose.
Okay. So really, I guess what I always wanted to talk about McDonald's is I hadn't been inside of a McDonald's for a very long time.
Well, I don't think anyone's really been in one hardly in the last 3 years.
But I hadn't
basically.
even, like, prior to that, I probably hadn't been in one quite a while. I took my kids to one. This has been a few months ago now.
Because I don't think the one right down the street from me
No,
is
I don't
open.
think you can go in that.
Yeah, you still can't go in that one.
So I don't actually know what that one looks like inside. But in my head, every McDonald's looked like, I guess, what they looked like to me, even when I was in high school. Like when I was like 20, they still all looked. When I was 20, they still all looked like exactly what I was thinking that they looked like.
Yeah.
So that was just
Because they had
15
that
years
stage
ago.
where they had the stage where they were kind of cartoony with the Ronald McDonald's and
But like I just
things like
picture
that.
all those swivel chairs that were
Yeah,
always
and
like the
everything
hard
seems so
porcelain,
brown inside it.
Yeah, it was like brown tan, like swiveling, very rigid swiveling chairs, and like that's just what I thought they all were. Still, I guess just because I hadn't been in one, and I went in and I was like, wow, they really classed up the joint. I feel like
it kind of looks like what you would think of as like a modern coffee shop almost,
Yeah.
or something like that.
yeah,
Like something like that is the old one, right?
right, yeah,
Yeah.
like that. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I just thought that they still all looked like that. I mean, it's weird for me to think in.
And the drawings of when they used to
Right,
have
right.
the drawings of the guys on the windows and the
Like the
Oh, man.
Hamburglar.
yes, and the chairs that actually look like them.
Grimace.
Yeah, like this. That was not that long ago.
No, I mean, 15
We're
years
looking
ago,
at
they
the
still
ones
looked
where
like
everything
that.
was very like pastel-y and
What is Grimace?
I don't know. He's the purple thing, right?
What is that though?
I don't know what that. No idea.
Just like a blobby purple thing. I'm kind of picturing. I can't exactly remember
Have you ever
what.
seen this picture of the '80s McDonald's party room?
That's horrifying. That's what nightmares are made of. That's like one of the trees off of Wizard of Oz, like the talking
Yeah.
trees.
Oh man, looking at if you
Ball
type-
pit, ball. Those don't exist anymore.
Yeah,
do they?
the play center,
Do
or whatever they call
any
them.
fast food places have like the play areas anymore?
I don't think so. And man, when I was a kid, those things were awesome.
Those were awesome. Why have those gone away? Just like because
I
they're
don't know.
disgusting? or-
Well, it has to be.
yeah, but they
right?
weren't not disgusting then.
Yeah, I think the world's standards for disgusting have changed a lot in the last.
I guess, but like all of our everyone's parents let like
was
it wasn't
cool
even
with
a
it
thing
at the time. Yeah. Oh, dude, I remember being a little kid. Well, we didn't have
But
McDonald's
like
in our
basically
town.
those things still exist at like like what's the place we have in town?
Oh, you're saying like anything that would be like a indoor recreation area
Right.
for kids.
Like those things kind of exist.
whether it's
still.
like a trampoline park
Yeah, maybe it's not-
or like a
Yeah, maybe it doesn't have to be a ball pit because a ball pit is the king grossest thing in the world.
Yeah,
But you go to like the trampoline parks, they have the foam pit.
Yeah, and
that's grosser.
and anything
Like
with
those
like
are
that's-
foam. That
yeah.
sucks into everything.
Right. Anything that's like a big indoor playground. It's like
Right.
that thing's not getting clean.
No,
Let's be honest here.
no. So why did the indoor play area go away?
Our mall still has one, Tanner.
I take my
it's-
kids there every once in a while. I mean, it's gross.
Actually,
but I take my
it's
kids
pretty
there, yeah.
amazing how
Everything's broken at. I mean,
Well,
our mall is terrible.
it's like
That
if you're talking
going
about
to that
this,
mall is going in back in time 20 to 25
yeah, if you're talking
years.
about this to anyone in Aberdeen, it's like this isn't funny or anything noteworthy. It's been like
it's
beaten to
depressing
death.
actually.
But
yeah.
for everyone else, it's actually pretty amazing if you went into our mall how like back in the actual 90s you are. Like it is back in the 90s.
And also like hasn't been cleaned since the 90s
Yeah.
either, you know, like
it's still got the food court with
Yeah.
the play area that is
Yeah.
straight from the 90s. The decor is the same
nothing's
as like
changed.
we're looking
It's
at.
the same fake plants.
Yeah,
that
the
have been
same.
there since
that
I was
is-
5.
We went there to eat at a restaurant this past weekend, and I told my brother, I'm like, it's so funny looking at these plants up high because you know those have been in this building since the day it was built in probably 95 or something like that. And the vibe throughout it is you can actually watch movies. What is it like Encino Man and things like that? Where they're in malls in California in the early
looks exactly
90s,
like that.
and that is what this place looks like.
Well,
and
that
it's now
place never
2022.
changed, and you know, I grew up going to that mall, you know,
Mm-hmm.
a lot, and like as a kid going with your parents, and then going in high school, you know, like because even when I was in high school, it was pretty happening. Like
Yeah.
people literally went there.
Oh, even when I moved to town, it was
Yeah.
still somewhat happening.
Like we would go there to eat because it's like you're going to run into like you go to the
You're
food
gonna
court
see
there
people,
because you're
yeah.
going to see people at the mall. I mean that's just kind of the case in malls in general.
A lot of them, yeah.
But
it does
this
still
one in
have
particular
It
is
also
bad,
still does
though.
have an arcade room, like a very small one.
Nothing
but it
works
has
inside of it.
It has games from like the early 2000s in it. Like it has like Tekken 2,
Yeah.
like a really old Cruisin' USA.
Yeah, it
some
has like a
pinball
Cruising
machines,
USA that would have been around.
like
when it-
like
yeah.
an Area 51 type
Yeah.
shooting game. from
That
also-
Area 51 game was good.
Yeah,
though.
oh, yeah, they were fun, but it is funny
Yeah.
that all the games in there are also from like the year 2000.
You know what was a really fun game? NBA Jams.
NBA Jam was good, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the first sports game that I actually got into as a kid.
It was a good game.
And then they had to come. I'm not sure. I haven't paid too much
All-Star.
attention to it, but they had one come out probably not super long ago. Well, actually, I think it was when I was in college. So yeah, kind of a long time ago. But damn, we got kind of back into it then too. And I don't know if they've had anything else come out. Since
Like
then.
what are you saying?
Like there was an NBA Jam that came out on like
Okay,
the
yeah,
360.
yeah, yeah.
I
I
think
gotcha.
the 360 had
Okay,
one.
yeah, yeah.
Pretty sure that's what it was.
Yeah.
And that was
was
probably
a
the
fun
last time I
game.
really played it.
Okay. What was the McDonald's though?
Oh yeah, but McDonald's. Yeah, they have really classed up the joint,
Yeah,
haven't they?
it seems like way more up class. There's a lot of stainless steel.
Stainless
you know?
steel, like black, sleek finishes on things.
Yeah.
High end materials.
It's like, you know, and I think the
fine wood
Yeah.
grains throughout.
and obviously they've changed the menu
Yeah.
over time, and it is like a little classier than what it used to be too.
Mhm.
Don't you think?
I mean, yeah. I
A
think
little
it's
bit,
more
like
just,
in comparison.
yeah, I think it's more. I mean, it's not like it's a White Castle. Or
No,
anything.
right.
But I think that I guess they just got to keep up with the times a little bit. You know,
Right.
got to have those trendy chicken sandwiches, the old go-to burgers, and then whatever random things are getting switched out. But it's not cheap to eat there.
No.
It's basically sit-down restaurant prices at this
Right.
point. Dude, you know what is hilarious? Maybe we've talked about this too. I remember when I was in high school, Hardee's had the $6 burger because
Oh,
it was
yeah,
like, oh
I
yeah,
remember that,
it was
yeah.
so good. It'd be like a $6 burger at a sit-down restaurant. Now it's
Yeah.
like $6 for a burger. You can't get that at a fast food restaurant.
No.
You know, with
You can't even get you
with
can't-
everything going
in
on
our
you know,
town.
with
You can't
prices.
even go to a Hardee's. So
The Hardee's is
we'd be
taking over-
lucky to get a Carl's Jr.
We would be. The Hardee's was taken. You know, we don't. Oh, we talked about this too. We don't have a Perkins anymore, do we?
Right, we lost Perkins.
lost
Speaking
Perkins.
of things in the '90s that have just like,
Fizzled out.
yeah, like I think Perkins has fizzled out. Really,
I think so.
is Perkins nationwide everywhere, or is it Midwestern,
I don't know.
or is it
It's definitely
every state?
it's definitely very Midwestern, but I don't
Yeah.
know. They're probably everywhere. I don't know.
What is Waffle House? Is it Waffle House?
Yeah.
Is it- Is that less Midwestern?
It must be because
We don't have many around
see
here.
them until we start to get east out to Ohio.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And south. I think they're a southern thing too, aren't they?
Okay.
Like Texas down there.
Yeah. I assume there's not a Waffle House in our state, right?
Oh, I'm pretty sure there's not.
Right. The 90s.
The 90s.
It was a wild time.
It was a happening time.
With everything that was going on back then.
Yeah. Internet, movies,
Perkins, the mall.
Perkins, malls. It was happening.
Yeah.
Pauly Shore.
Pauly Shore.
That a lot going on then.
Encino Man. Is that you brought up Encino Man in the Army now?
I've never seen that. I've never seen that one. Yeah.
That's got Andy Dick in it too.
I know.
That's a good. You should watch it.
I should. I've never seen that one.
What about Son-in-Law?
I've seen Son-in-Law 10 million times.
It's good.
That is it's funny.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
What's
movie.
better, Son-in-Law or Encino Man? Encino Man has Brendan Fraser. Is that right?
Yeah.
And who else? There's another guy. Who's the other guy with Pauly Shore?
I can picture his face. And
Is it Rudy? It's Rudy.
Yes, whatever his name is.
And he's also in Lord of the Rings.
And
isn't he?
Yeah, isn't he Samwise? Is that
Yeah, something like that.
He's also in Stranger Things, isn't he? God, I can't think of that guy's name.
So, but what's better than Encino Man?
Well,
or
then there's also Biodome, kind of fits in that same timeline too.
what else is Pauly Shore's best?
I always think it's Son-in-Law. If you had to ask me,
Son-in-Law is pretty good.
Sean Astin.
Okay.
I would not have guessed that ever actually. Yeah, Pauly.
Wasn't Sean Astin at Northern or at our local college?
Well, no, didn't he come for the film festival? We have the South Dakota Film Festival. I think he.
Didn't they say he was a dick?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought somebody telling us about.
Perhaps.
Okay.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
I'm looking at the Pauly Shore lineup. I'm pretty sure his best work was Son-in-Law. The top top four for sure: Son-in-Law, Biodome, Encino Man, and In the Army Now.
Yeah.
Yeah, 93, 92, 93, 94, 96.
He was
pretty hot.
What was 96?
96
Biodome?
was Biodome.
Yeah.
92 Encino Man, 93 Son-in-Law, 94 In the Army. I have seen Pauly Shore do stand-up comedy.
Really?
I went to it in Watertown.
Really?
Yeah. And
did he wheeze the juice?
he started at after a while, you could tell people just wanted to hear that shit. So he started munching on the grind. They started doing that whole thing, and people were just losing their shit because he's doing Pauly Shore stuff.
Yeah.
But I do remember it just being really funny, because it would have been in the fall, and Midwest in the fall isn't exactly after the leaves are changing, things are just dead looking.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, your town's just so gray. You guys could be on Extreme Makeover Town Edition. And I thought it was hilarious.
And everyone in there from Watertown
I don't think
was
most of the people really cared for that.
crickets. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm like, oh, I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's so true. The Midwest, after all the leaves fall off everything, it's just this is a dead zone.
Wheezing the juice.
I'm pretty sure. I know I have a picture here. I actually do have.
That you got a picture.
I'll
with
just go
Pauly Shore.
to the very first pictures on my phone. If I have it, it's got to be.
So
one
what
of them.
year do you think it was?
Well, I could drink alcohol, and my brother could too. So, yep. My phone says 2011. So,
Jeez.
Oh, of course, in 2011, phone quality. Okay, here. Yep.
Oh,
that was
that's
Ryan's.
funny.
That was Ryan's roommate at the time. That he's leaning
so
on.
Pauly Shore is pretty short, I guess, too. Huh?
Yeah, he's a pretty little guy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Oh. And then the next picture is us spraying aerosol cans at lighters. I think that was the same night.
Yeah. Safety first.
Yep. Yep. Just making the best of it.
Yep. Do we need to hit him with a couple?
Yeah, I think I got one here. I think I got one here for us. This episode is also brought to you by Fusion Sports Performance Supplements. Do you know what's in your supplements? If you use Fusion Sports Performance, you always will. Fusion SP prides itself on being fully transparent, never using proprietary blends, and always providing its customers with top quality products. They offer 2 pre-workout options with Super Soldier Pre-Workout and Mad Titan High Stim Pre-Workout. Both have proven ingredients at their full clinical doses to maximize performance increase muscular endurance, improve focus, and get you that much sought-after pump. Both are favorites among strength sport athletes. Healing Factor post-workouts combines BCAAs with a full serving of creatine monohydrate and other great ingredients to help maximize your efforts in the gym, build muscle, and recover fast. Fusion's whey protein isolate not only tastes great, it also has 27 grams of protein per scoop, 0 fat, and low or no carb options depending on the flavor. It doesn't contain any soy or gluten, and it won't cause any stomach discomfort. Available in vanilla ice cream, chocolate fudge, and frosted cinnamon roll flavors. Most orders are shipped within 1 business day, and every Fusion Sports Performance product comes fully backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to fusionsp.net and use code MASS. That's MASS to save a huge 20% on your order. Thank you, Fusion Sports Performance.
Thanks, Fusion SP. What do you think, Tommy? Should we put a bow on this one?
I think we should bring it on home.
Should we bring it on home? Buy our stuff. We still got the Bench and 315 tee, a few of those. Numero uno, the beanies in the 4 different colors. Mm-hmm. And then everything else is pretty well stocked.
Yeah, stock's
right now.
looking good. So go on a little shopping spree.
Yeah.
Treat yourself.
Wheezing the Jews.
We don't have any Steven Tyler PJs, but you can figure something out in there.
Yeah, there's something you could replace with that. All our shorts and stuff are in stock.
Yeah.
I mean, we just got good inventory of stuff right now. We've got some other stuff in the works, some new stuff coming. There's always new stuff coming.
There's new stuff coming, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
cool.
fun. It's gonna be. We got some fun stuff in the works here.
Fun stuff.
Some things that might make you do a little LOLing.
Yeah, we hope so. Sign up to become a supporting member. We'd love to have more people in the Discord crew. We love that gang, and we want to see it keep growing.
And the Discord would love to have more people in there.
They would. It's a very active
you'll get
community.
open. You don't have to worry about going into a stuffy environment.
No, you'll be welcomed with open arms.
It's like a Creed concert with arms wide open. It's just Scott Stapp. The second you sign up, Scott Stapp is there just waiting for you.
You know, because you said that now, people are going to be, because like Discord's a community that uses a lot of emojis
GIFs.
and GIFs and stuff. So like everyone will be using that now, you know. I always use whenever someone new joins, I always use the same one of
here's your intern.
It's like some I don't know if it's from like Grey's Anatomy.
No,
or
it's
something
from it's from the funny one. Was it Scrubs?
Okay, that's what
I never liked the show.
No, I don't like that.
Hospital stuff.
It's like here is your new intern. I use that every time, but sometimes people beat me to it because they know I'm going to do that.
Just talking about Creed, it made me remember one of my favorite memes ever because it's so stupid. I'm pretty sure it's Creed playing. They're playing like a halftime show at like a Cowboys football game.
Yeah.
And at some point, I don't know what song is playing, if it's With Arms Wide Open or whatever it is. You know, it's at that era of that music.
Right.
And they have a guy, he's like, it's kind of like a Cirque du Soleil thing. Like he's like hanging from ribbons and flying across the football field, and he has like this crazy like makeup paint on his face and everything, and he looks like a possessed demon. And the meme was something
part of the act.
Yeah, it's part of the act. But the meme was something like, "Don't go too crazy at the football game," and it says me like 20 beers later, and it's the guy flying across the field. It's just so funny because I should try and track it down, but
could we turn it into a Massenomics theme? Is there
there's definitely a way to do that. There's definitely a way to do that.
And then leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We want to start to push that ball up the hill towards the 500. Mm-hmm. And it's like what they say: if you stop pushing it, it starts to roll backwards. So we got to keep pushing that ball up the hill. So please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. If you got to borrow someone else's phone to leave a second 5-star review, we do not mind. Do whatever it takes. The system doesn't know that.
There's no rules here.
Yeah. But if you've been listening for a long time and you want to support us somehow, you don't want to spend any money, leave us a 5-star review. That's one way you can do that. And then tell some friends about the podcast. The numbers are always growing, the listeners, but we'd like to see it grow even more. So help us get the word out. And like us on Facebook, YouTube. What's the one called? What's the stuff that the kids like?
Instagram? TikTok?
Yep, TikTok. You can get us on there too.
I did find that Creed, the performance I'm referencing is Creed's 2001 performance at Cowboy Stadium.
Okay. Classic.
Absolute classic. The caption here says remains one of the strangest performances we've ever seen. A clearly lip sync performance. So
Isn't that
probably gonna watch this when I go to bed
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah. I'm intrigued. Tommy, where do they find you
You
at?
can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Bear. Just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.